I want to share with you some simple self-tests that you can do regarding your shoulder. This is especially for people who lift weights or do activities or exercises that involve overhead movements, overhead presses, swimming, volleyball, throwing a ball, etc. So first thing is you're just gonna, in standing, raise one arm up and see how it feels. See how high and far back you can bring your arm up overhead. And you're gonna do the other arm just to compare. Okay, and you're gonna take a little mental note, any differences, if any, between the two. Then we're gonna overcorrect. You're gonna turn one arm, turn the palm in and down so the elbow comes out to the side and the shoulder turns in like that. Keep that in that position and then raise your arm up as high as you can. You should feel a little crowding, a little bit more difficulty in doing that. Then you're gonna go the opposite direction, turn the hand outward so the elbow goes in, and then you bring your arm up as far as you comfortably can, and you should notice a difference, meaning more movement. It should be freer, less restriction. And then you would do that on the other arm as well, okay? Now that's just to show you depreciation of an overcorrection of one way as compared to the other way with respect to the shoulder joint. So now you're gonna take your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger, and you're gonna pretend you're making a fist with those three fingers only. The ring and pinky finger remain extended or straight like that. So you're gonna squeeze really hard with the thumb, index, and middle fingers, okay? Squeeze really hard, bring your arm in front of you, and then while you're squeezing, bring your arm up as high and comfortably as you can while you're squeezing, okay? And just appreciate what you feel in that arm, okay? Then you're gonna relax that, shake it off. You're gonna take your pinky and your ring finger and make a fist with just those two fingers alone as hard as you can. The other three fingers remain extended or straight. Squeeze the two little fingers as much as you can, and again, bring your arm up, okay? And then you compare with the other arm as well. So what you're looking for are any differences between squeezing with the pinky and index finger and raising the arm, and squeezing with the other three, the thumb, index finger, and middle finger, squeezing really hard. Normally, what you would find, or a common pattern, is the three fingers, the thumb, index, and middle fingers. As you raise your arm up, there's gonna be a little bit of resistance. For most people, it's gonna be a little bit more resistance than if you were squeezing the ring and index finger. Now, reason being, what we're looking for are tendencies, or patterning, habitual patterning tendencies, where most of the time we tend to engage or overuse the thumb, index, and middle finger. Now, if you just contract or flex or make a fist with those three fingers and extend that force to the rest of the arm, you're gonna notice what we call a pronation, where that forearm wants to turn down and that little muscle inside part of your forearm engages, it bulges out. And then if we go up the chain from the forearm to the elbow wants to come out, the shoulder wants to turn in, okay? That's a pattern. Some people call that a pronation pattern of the arm, okay? Because it's absorbing, it's being loaded, it's being turned in. Whereas the pinky and the index finger, when you engage those areas and make a fist, that's going to turn the opposite direction, where the forearm starts to supinate, elbow starts to go in, upper arm, shoulder starts to turn out or externally rotate, as we call it, okay? That's a general supination patterning of the arm, okay? Supination is more of producing force, pronation is more of absorbing force. You're used to thinking that, or associating that with the feet. When the foot pronates, the inside arch flattens, then as we push off the balls of our feet to our toes, the foot supinates as it produces force and propels us forward. Same principles with the arm, okay? But with the arm, when you're in that pronation patterning, okay, the muscles, all muscles that are involved in that chain, tends to create a little compression in the shoulder joint as you bring the arm up overhead while still engaged in that chain. Whereas in the supination chain, as you turn outward, the pinky and the ring finger, that promotes, when you go overhead, more freedom of movement of the shoulder joint, and thus more access, the more range of motion, and you can carry more into the rest of the chain, which carries over to the shoulder girdle, rib cage, thoracic spine, pelvis, the whole body essentially, right? So that's just a different way of thinking. Most people are clinicians who talk about overhead movements and how to improve your overhead mobility of your shoulder. They go to the usual, the thoracic spine extension. We know that already. But nobody, zero people talk about chains of patterns of movement that we habitually already been doing our whole lives, which is part of our pre-cortical dominance that we have, just like we have 90+% of the world population is right-hand dominant for some reason. We have these tendencies. So oftentimes when we hurt ourselves, the easy part is the rehab and just putting out the fire, the inflammation, calming down and optimizing the tone, hypotonicity, hypertonicity of the muscles, and normalizing, whatever that means, the joint mechanics, and reintegrating back into the person's activities. But we never really think about the underlying possible mechanisms or habitual tendencies, which are these patterns, all right? So when you do any overhead motions, whether it's, say, for example, an overhead press, okay? You have a barbell. Think of squeezing a little bit more with your ring finger and pinky as you press overhead, okay? That's just gonna help disengage or optimize that chain to open up that shoulder joint, okay? So that you don't create or increase the amount of compressive load onto the shoulder joint itself. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you'd like to see more videos like this of self-assessment, where if you'd like to learn how to become your own physical therapist, your own personal trainer or strength coach, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button. You know the deal for the YouTube algorithms. Just hook a brother up, and till the next time, have a great day.